There seems to be a tall mansion built in the mountains, Mr. Takusa, but what is it? There are 15 buildings and 2,846 apartment units in this group of mansions. The difference in elevation is so great that there are even steps set up like terraces. That's probably why such a huge group of mansions was able to be built here, even though it's in the mountains. The prices of the mansions kept rising, but now the prices have plummeted and they're just sitting there. This time, I'm reporting on a huge group of mansions that was built in the mountains. I will introduce in detail the past and present of Takara no Sato. That's what I'm going to do. I've come to Takarazuka Station in Takarazuka City, Hyogo Prefecture. I also took the Hankyu Railway to get here. I visited Takarazuka for a walk years ago, so I've been here previously, but this is my second visit to Takarazuka. As a fan of mentally stimulating games, I thoroughly enjoy exploring the town and solving mysteries. It's a blast, and I highly recommend everyone to experience it. When you think of Takarazuka, the Takarazuka review is famous, but today it's Takarazuka. There was also a hot spring street called Onsen. Gradually, most have shut down with only a handful remaining in operation. La Vista Takarazuka is a 15-minute drive or bus ride from Takarazuka Station, making it convenient to rent a car nearby. We're going to La Vista Takarazuka on the mountainside of Takarazuka City. Let's drive along a generic street that could be found anywhere in the country. By the way, just so you know, I recently left my previous company, so I'm now working independently. My health has also been a concern, and there are some parts of this that aren't really what I intended, but for now, I'm going to do my best and keep moving forward. I'm doing a reading on April 19th, so please come if you can. I never thought I could make a living solely from this. I'm currently studying for my home inspector certification, doing my best. Even after getting certified, I think I'll still be at the starting line. Saterabisuta. Hi, the Takaraoka area is in Sumiregaoka, Takaraoka City. There's also a Sumiregaoka in Yokohama, which is confusing. The katakana likely differentiates between Takaraoka and Yokohama. Yokohama came first, so Takaraoka probably got its name from the katakana. Family name overlap like this is uncommon. By the way, when you mention Takarazuka City, people immediately think of the Takarazuka review. It's said that the name comes from the violet flowers, which are the symbol of the review songs. The atmosphere changes completely from the residential area to the mountains here. From here you can see the violets starting to appear. This 7-Eleven is the closest convenience store to Takarazuka. You could say it's the most reliable one in the area. Even from the closest mansion, it's still about a 10-minute walk, so it's a little far. And now I could see a group of mansions. This is Vista Takarazuka. It feels like mansions are growing out of the mountains. I don't know if that comes across well in the video, but it's quite overwhelming. Since you can drive around the whole area in one loop, I'll give you an overview of the mansion complex as we go around Rabista. Takara no Ho is a complex that was built from the 1990s to the 2000s. There are 15 buildings and 2,846 units in the mansion complex. But it's not just a mass of buildings. Everything is divided, and there are also about 50 detached houses built individually. The total development area is about 440,000 square meters, so it's not something you can easily grasp just by looking at the numbers. It's a new town built on a vast plot of land about 12 times the size of Koshien Stadium, making use of such a large area. There are also 5 parks set up, making it an excellent place to raise children. When you look at it from above, you can clearly see that the mansions are built in an orderly arrangement. There are a lot of fences, aren't there? On the left side, it's all mountains, so there are a lot of high-rise apartment buildings, but the building coverage ratio exceeds 50%, while the residential land coverage for the whole town is less than 35%. In Hyogo Prefecture, mountains are cut down to create artificial islands, which are used for development through land reclamation. There are also cases where new towns have been created. Examples include Seishun New Town and Suma New Town. When you look at these new towns, you can probably tell the difference between a town built around a mansion center and one built around single-family homes, since the houses are built in rows of apartment buildings. Cutting down mountains and developing land is very expensive. To recover those costs, builders construct as many houses as possible. The distinctive street layout in areas like Vista Takarazuka is connected to why apartment building clusters form there, which I'll explain further later. I took a quick walk around and found the streets to be very orderly and clean, giving the impression that everything is well maintained. Back at the entrance, there it is, the sole commercial facility in Vista Takarazuka. Let's go check out PLA, the comms shopping mall. It seems to mainly cater to locals, so I don't have high expectations. The tenant situation is calm, with minimal activity. There's a grocery store and bank nearby. As for food options, there's a bakery. There's a lady inside. As for the supermarket, there's a store called Coop Mini. It's more like a small supermarket than a convenience store, but it's a bit bigger than a typical small supermarket. Still, you can buy the basics there, so it's pretty convenient. Most people probably take the bus from Takarazuka station if they have a lot of luggage, so normally, as long as you use the supermarket near the station or nearby, it shouldn't be a problem. Convenience stores are within walking distance for urgent purchases after the supermarket closes. These commercial facilities provide reassurance, but the vacant tenant spaces were concerning. I'm unsure if it just closed today, but some sections were open while 2 or 3 were vacant. The rent is 115,000 yen. I targeted everyone except the local residents. Tenant is hard to find and it feels a bit awkward, but I'll put it in. It seems like the tenant is limited. It seems hard to make use of, doesn't it? There was also a plan. Maybe this was a tobacco shop or something before. Well, there is at least a minimum tenant, so I wonder if that's okay. But there aren't really any particularly convenient facilities nearby. The residents do not appear to be particularly uneasy. There isn't a post office or anything like that near the commercial facilities, so I went to the convenience store nearby to buy some food. There were a lot of women in line ahead of me, so I waited in line, but the store clerk was very friendly and served everyone with a smile. Everyone was really nice. I was really touched. Since I usually work alone, I don't often get to experience people's kindness, so it moved me to feel that warmth after such a long time. As someone without much big city living experience, I was really touched by everyone's warm-heartedness. Thank you so much. Well then, the La Vista Takarazuka is located in a mountain resort area, so to solve the problem of the large difference in elevation, a funicular elevator has been installed. However, there are only 3 in total. There are 2 near the commercial facilities, and 1 more on the left side. For people living in the apartments higher up the mountain who don't have cars, I thought it would be convenient to use the funicular elevator, but actually not many people use it at all. I'll explain the reason later. Let's enter the splendid entrance and quickly take the funicular elevator. The windows allow passengers to enjoy the scenic views and see the rails during the ride. Hyogo Prefecture has many funicular elevators, which I have filmed in videos including while riding them. I've ridden the Nishinomiya Najio New Town and Gunsei Town Center funiculars, but no matter how many times I ride them, it's always exciting. Still, even when I'm riding, I feel like each elevator is a little different. They are often installed at stations and commercial facilities. The tower-like booths were interesting and fun to see. When you go down in the car-type elevator, there's a window installed, so the view is really beautiful. If the weather is nice, it's even more stunning. For the residents, being able to see this scenery from their balcony must be wonderful. It seems that La Vista means view in Spanish, so it's a fitting name, and as expected, the view is outstanding. The concept is a city you can see, a city you can be seen from, Takarazuka City. La Vista's panoramic views of the city streets and the street's view of La Vista make this place special. For a while, photos of La Vista Takarazuka taken from the city area were a popular topic, as I recall. I've seen it a few times myself, and it's quite a sight. It really stands out as a landmark in the city. When you get off the elevated train, there's a park right there. Although the weather is often bad and I haven't really been able to enjoy it, the area is well maintained and organized. And there was also a basketball goal set up, but it felt kind of out of place. Honestly, I don't really feel like using the elevated train for exercise or anything, since it seems a bit lacking. If you walk along the sidewalk, it becomes quite a detour, so it's a bit inconvenient, but for kids there are stairs set up in several places, so it's not too bad. It's like they force these stairs onto the slope of the mountain, so it feels a bit unnatural. This time I went down just for filming, but wow, it's steeper than I thought. Looking up from below, it's even more obvious. I used the stairs to go back up. Even if you use a stroller, there are places where it's actually faster to use the stairs, so it seems like kids living in La Vista Takarazuka use them a lot. When you leave the park and walk along the road, you come across a bus stop, but there aren't many people using the wheelchair elevator. For that reason, there are a total of 6 bus stops set up within La Vista Takarazuka, so even if you're far from the station, you can make up for it. There are bus stops within a 1 or 2 minute walk from any mansion, and since there are so many buses even during the day, there's one every 15 minutes, and during the morning rush hour, they run every 4 minutes. That means a lot of people need to use the bus. Do you have the impression that it's an inconvenient location for commuting? Not really. So, what kind of street is Rabista Takaramachi, which we've been walking along? After introducing it, I'll talk about the issues this street faces until it fully develops. You can find high-quality stone in the area near this place. That's why it used to be a quarry. In 1945, the mountain was exposed, which made the scenery worse. Problems like soil erosion, landslides, and public hazards from the dump, as well as noise and vibrations from dump trucks passing by, became social issues. That's why companies in Takara City, Nagatani Port, and residential areas like Kobayashi devised plans to convert former quarry sites into housing developments, which began to materialize. In the late 1950s, people started living in the 4th block of Rengoyama, which only had single-family homes at the time. Around 1990, the Rabista Takarazuka was developed on the former quarry site, and people started moving into the mansion complex. It's not a new town built by clearing away the nearby forests. Rabista Takarazuka is a new town created with the concept of restoring nature, which is the opposite idea from usual. Despite being a high-rise mansion district, half of the area is green space. The town's residential land is under 35%, which is exceptional compared to other areas that typically surpass this figure. It's a rare place in the nation where nature and urban life are so harmoniously integrated. High-rise mansion districts are rare. Rabista Takara no Hakobune Rifines. The second building has a beautiful hill. This site was formerly a quarry, which makes me wonder why. If you look at it with street view, it wasn't there until 2 years ago, so it must have been installed recently, right? If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. At that time, Rabista Takara Shrine was very popular. With a real television, you can recognize visitors at the entrance and even respond to them. They adopted a television control system using televisions. There were also features like electronic viewing panels inside the building. It gained attention as a high-tech mansion. The mansion sold out quickly, that's how it was. Despite the distance from the station and subpar location, it sold out at an average price exceeding 60 million yen. Even the harder to sell higher floors sold out immediately, that's amazing. Today, used property prices have fallen drastically. Even a 130 square meter space now costs just over 30 million yen, less than 1/5 of its former price. Harumitsu's lyrics at the time depicted the luxurious lifestyle in Yamate. It appears to have been marketed as a high-end property near a prestigious train line, suggesting the price during Harumitsu's time was simply too steep. If you try to sell Haitake-san, the price will drop significantly when the times catch up, so that's tough. Also, the fact that it's far from the station means it doesn't meet the conditions for moving in, which is a big deal. There's also the fact that it's on a hill. It's designated as a landslide disaster warning area, so I think some people might be concerned about that. The Self-Defense Forces Chu Mountain Training Ground is nearby. Located just above Takara Shrine, this area is worth checking out if you're thinking about living in this town. There might be some drawbacks to being up here. Goyama 4-chome and Negasuberi are grouped together in the statistics, but the aging rate is rising significantly. Currently, it's about 30%. The number has more than doubled from about 13.5% 10 years ago. The population peaked at around 9,000 in 2012 but has now fallen below 8,000. The aging population and population decline have been ongoing issues for about 30 years, coinciding with the last time the waiting list opened. While the number of households has stabilized at around 3,200 over the past decade, children have grown up and moved out of their family homes during this time. It seems that the main reason for the population decline is this, but I haven't directly asked the residents about it. However, the level of satisfaction among the people living here doesn't seem to be particularly high. If you want to live here, that's fine. And if you want to live in Tokyo, that's fine too. That's my honest opinion. I've really grown fond of this town. I don't think there's anything particularly inconvenient about it. Even though local governments can't avoid population decline and aging from now on, do people want to move and live in a place that appeals to them as a good environment for raising children, even if they get older or end up living alone? Can we create a town where people can live peacefully? That's the challenge we face. Still, the area's appeal and livability remain its biggest assets. Even after understanding the disadvantages of this area, I still like this town and felt like I wanted to live here. Even when viewing the information and display boards on the streets, I also felt that the sense of community among the residents was strong and very appealing. A high-rise apartment has revived a former stone quarry site, transforming the city and its lifestyle. I thought it was wonderful that the video introduced the area and conveyed the atmosphere of the streets. So that's it for this video. I'll see you again in the next one.